I spent years imagining what becoming an empty nester was going to look like. The quiet, clean, organized house, that mythical thing called free time. And then my adult kids moved back home. Both of them at roughly the same time. Yeah, the universe said, cute plan. Here's your detour. Welcome to Gloriously Off Track. I'm Mary, and today we're going to talk about one of the most unexpected midlife detours. Thinking that you're entering one chapter in your life and then suddenly waking up in an entirely different one. If your kids moved out and then suddenly moved back in again, or if your emptiness dreams didn't come to fruition for whatever reason, this one's for you. My husband and I had a brief period where we were actually empty nesters. Both of our sons had gone off to college. And to be honest with you, I don't know that we really figured out what empty nest looked like for us. It was such a brief period of time, and we were both in the throes of our high stress, high level corporate jobs. So we ended up spending all of that extra time working. So I don't really think that we ever really did figure out what empty nest was supposed to look like for us. So I still had this, mythical, imaginary view in my mind. So when the kids told us that they needed to move back, and both had their own story and their own, situation that they needed to address. And of course, I am more than happy to provide a space for them while they figure out their futures. There's just a part of me that was like, oh, great, there's bonus time. But then there was the reality that kind of set in. And it's like the dishes are multiplying in the sink like they're unionizing. Some of them disappear for days and I don't see them. Shoes are just everywhere. I'm tripping over them everywhere I can possibly go. And then there's the dinner rebellion, right? All of a sudden we're finding ourselves having to, create menus for 4 people again instead of 2. And they each have their likes and dislikes. And so we'll spend time making something really nice for dinner, and all of a sudden they're making 4 hot dogs because they didn't like it. What I'm learning is it's okay to admit that shared space is really hard, right? We've got Gen X and adult Gen Z living in the same house at the same time. I know they aren't teenagers, and I know that they don't want to be in their rooms 24/7. So we're just naturally tripping over each other. They had their own space for a while and want to continue to live that. They don't want to revert back to what they were like when they were kids. But then there's the reality of we have 4 adults who have, very different personalities all living in the same house again. And so we are literally tripping over each other. Honestly, I think that, what I'd like to share with all of you is the tug of war that I'm having with myself, having my sons back in the house again. So there are 2 truths that I've really come to realize. One is that I think I mentioned it before. My first reaction was, awesome, I get bonus time with my sons and I really get to learn who they are as people and I get to be a part of their day-to-day lives. And I genuinely missed that while, they were away at school and living on their own. But there's another side to that coin as well. And that's the side where I feel like my life is on hold again. All of a sudden I feel 35 and 55 all at the same time. I can't, it's like my life is on hold. I'm waiting again for that next chapter to be able to start. One of the things that I've realized having my sons back in the house is that I have a tendency to revert back into what I'll call mom mode, right? And it's the last thing that grown men need, right? They don't want me nagging them about things. They don't want me, telling them or reminding them, get the dishes out of your room, pick up your shoes, right? They don't want that. But at the same time, it's really irritating to me because it's my space, it's my home. I'm too old to deal with this shit at this point, to be honest with you, right? So I'm trying to balance not being a nag and just reverting back into, that mom mode all the time that I know irritates the hell out of them. But yet I'm balancing that with the irritation that I feel as a grown adult in my own space. And I want to be able to do the things that I want to do on occasion as well, and not always cater to them. So one of the things that I found that really helped, my husband and I took a couple of long weekend trips, and we were away from the house, we were away from the kids, and that was a really great opportunity for us to really level set and remind ourselves what's really important while we have them in the house at this time. And so while I still struggle on a daily basis with the irritant things, and I got to tell you, if they don't start picking up all of those empty Coke cans, we're going to have a come to Jesus meeting. But at the same time, I also want them to remember this time as bonus time, right? They're adults. They are going to choose what kind of relationship that they're going to have with my husband and I going forward. And I want to make sure that they look back on this time with fondness and with just, I don't know, grateful isn't the right word, but I don't want them to look back on this time as, oh my God, do you remember when we had to live in the house with our parents? It was awful. So I know, and I'm really aware of the fact that I've got to be really, really careful, because this is a time that's going to set what my relationship is like with my adult sons, from here on out. So I guess in summary, what I'm trying to say is that distance from them helped me to realize what was really irritating me, right? Is it really the Coke cans all over the place, or is it that, I'm lacking boundaries, or I'm missing some of those boundaries? So that extra space, I think, was really, really helpful for us. And if you're going through the same thing, I highly recommend it. The space wasn't really about escaping them. It was about remembering who I am and what's really important to me. The next observation that I want to share with you about my own journey was that once I got past all of those irritants, and you can even see, as I'm speaking to you, there are still things that irritate me, right? I'm human. But once I start to get past that, I started to see the magic of knowing my sons as adults. So my younger son studied, he went to school to be a zoologist and conservation biologist. And he and I had the opportunity to go to the zoo. And if you've never been to a zoo with a zoologist, I highly recommend it. My gosh, all of a sudden, my son, who I used to have to talk about, all of the animals and teach him, was teaching me about all of the animals. It was just an amazing experience. And my older son is getting into, computer science and machine learning and AI and all of that stuff. And he and I have been talking, and he's starting to help me automate certain parts of my business. And so I'm starting to get to see the adults that my sons are becoming and see them in new, amazing ways. And we're having discussions, on weekend nights, late at night, about, conversations about life and history and current events. And, these are things that I wouldn't trade for anything. And so they are funny and wildly intelligent young people. And they don't need a parent anymore. I'm building a relationship with these young adults. And I got to tell you, they're amazing individuals once you start to get to know them. So, reinvention, and I guess, realizing who I am through all of this and trying to maintain a sense of self and not reverting back to that 30-year-old mom me is really giving me an opportunity to get to know these incredible people. And I wouldn't have had that opportunity if these conditions with them moving back home, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have this opportunity. This period of time is really getting me thinking about who I am as a person and as a grown adult, to be honest with you. It's forcing me to realize and come to grips how much of my identity was really tied to caregiving. It's making me, it's really forcing me to think about, my sons and their perspective. I am acutely aware that this is a very delicate time for them. They don't want to be here. They want to be off building their lives. But, due to financial reasons and, things that are of no fault of their own, they're forced to live with their parents again. And so I don't want to inadvertently damage my relationship with them while they're here during this time. I want them to think back on this time fondly, where we were all getting to know each other as adults. And, I'm really conscious of the fact that I want to make sure that I have a good, healthy relationship with my sons as they become adults and as they start to think, and figure out who they are. So I've got to figure out who I am to them at this point. They don't need an overbearing mom anymore. They need support and someone to listen. And that's been really challenging for me, although I am giving it as much energy as I possibly can. If you are currently staring at all of those empty Coke cans sitting on the counter, that pile of shoes, the trash that doesn't take itself out anymore, and all of the extra work that having people in your house again is bringing with it, or if you're wondering, where did that quiet chapter in my life go? Just know you're not doing anything wrong, and you're not going to lose yourself in this either. There is no tidy ending here. The detour is the damn point. So if this is resonating with you, I would absolutely love to hear what you're navigating right now. Are you secretly loving the bonus time with your kids if they've moved back? Or are you missing the space that you once had as an empty nester, but now you don't anymore? It's okay if it's both. At least that's what I'm learning. So let me know in the comments so that we can navigate this together. And if you're looking for more conversations like this about midlife, identity, and the things that just don't go according to plan, subscribe. That's what we're all about here. So I'm Mary, and thanks for getting off track with me today.